Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Smart Recovery Series, Tips and Tools for Recovery That Works. On today's show, we want to help you identify and overcome those pesky holiday season triggers. Thanksgiving, Christmas, or Kwanzaa, or Happy Winter Solstice, or whatever you like to celebrate, these are supposed to be joyous, memorable, tranquil events shared with family and friends. Unfortunately, life doesn't always cooperate. For many of us in recovery, the holidays are a prime breeding ground for triggers that can lead to urges that could lead to a possible slip-up. Holidays bring holiday parties, holiday cheer, most of which include celebrations and toasts with tons of alcohol. Family get-togethers can provoke stress and anxiety when unresolved family tensions bubble up to the surface, or crazy Uncle Bob brings up politics and religion. On the flip side, some people don't even have anybody to spend the holidays with. Maybe friends or family get-togethers are COVID health risks. This sparks loneliness, which is a huge trigger in and of itself. What's more, we've been brought up to think that we have to be happy around the holidays. And when we're not, that disconnect sometimes becomes a factor too. Regardless of context, it's important for you to identify your triggers well in advance of the holidays. And there's a great exercise here to list them out on paper. For instance, if your issue is heroin, a big trigger will probably be seeing needles and associated paraphernalia. Maybe driving by that back alley where you used to shoot up, or your dealer's number appearing on your favorites list. If it's cocaine, maybe it's the sight of baking flour, or aluminum or tin foil, $100 bills, or listening to 80s music, or your dealer on speed dial, or watching Narcos season 1 through 3 on Netflix. If your issue is cannabis, well, it's probably the sight of dispensary ads on huge billboards that have sprouted like mushrooms all over the country. Maybe the sight of rolling papers at your local 7-Eleven, the Taco Bell drive-thru where you fed your munchies, or that designer bong you decommissioned and repurposed as a lampshade. And alcohol, well, what can I say? Beverage companies spend billions of dollars a year on advertising aimed at selling you a product you're struggling to avoid. Throw in liquor stores on every corner, the sight of your favorite bars as you drive home from your Smart Recovery meeting, and, well, you get the point. The triggers we've listed are based on sights and sounds, but they also come from feelings caused by relationship issues, problems at work, finances, especially given increased spending around the holidays, feelings of stress, anxiety, boredom, or even feelings of joy and accomplishment, and the feelings that we should celebrate those accomplishments. And there's such a thing as post-holiday blues, so add all these things to your list too. Now that you have your list, and for the sake of this exercise, let's use alcohol triggers as an example. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate the risk of each one leading to a possible slip, 10 being the riskiest and 1 being maybe a slight annoyance. Feel free to include the ones that led to a slip in the past. They should probably be at the top of your list because they won last time. Now just look at your list and sort it out from riskiest to least risky. The result is you've identified those triggers that may be the most likely to result in the second part of this exercise, which is urges. Now, we've talked about urges in previous tips and tools episodes, including several smart recovery tools that you can use to beat them. Let's all remember, triggers and urges don't have any power over us. They're not out-of-control freight trains inevitably leading to a slip-up. They're simply invitations for us to act. And it's how we think about these invitations that really matters. We always have the power to decline any invitation. So in this exercise, let's go more granular in our thought process about these invitations and create what we call an urge log. In column 1, put the date an urge happened to you, the time, rate the strength of the urge on a scale of 1 to 10, record the length of the urge, and of course, what triggered the urge. Add a column to record where and who you were with when the urge happened. Add another column for how you coped with the urge and your feelings about it. And in the last column, and this is really the most important part of this exercise, what kind of alternative activities or substitute behaviors did you employ to overcome that urge? So for instance, if cocaine is your issue, last Saturday night at 9 p.m. you were home alone and happened to come across Narcos season 3 in your Netflix queue. For about 30 seconds you had an urge to call your dealer, who you happen to still have on speed dial. But you didn't call him. You coped with your urge by watching The Tiger King instead. And you felt pretty happy that you did, on top of probably laughing a lot. So now, thanks to your urge log, next Saturday night you'll have a strategy. You'll try not to be home alone on a Saturday night. You'll open Disney Plus instead of Netflix. You'll erase your dealer's number from your phone, and you'll make a huge bowl of popcorn, sit back, relax, and revel in your powers of self-control. After a few days or weeks of filling out your urge log, you'll definitely start to see these kinds of larger patterns in the data. You'll identify the highest risk triggers, which lead to the highest intensity urges. You'll learn to see urges as mere invitations to act, invitations that you can get really good at declining because you've devised all kinds of clever and effective strategies to overcome them consistently and succeed at your recovery. Hey, I hope these kinds of smart recovery tools really help. If you've used them or have comments or helpful suggestions, drop us a line at tipsandtools@smartrecovery.org. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for our next episode of Smart Recovery's Tips and Tools for Recovery That Works. Happy holidays, everyone.